Welcome to the channel. This is just going to be my opinion. Not really a review. Well, you could call it a review, but what I thought after watching the new Disney Plus series for Marvel Television, basically Agatha all along. So tonight they dropped the first two episodes, and I just watched them. And not really sure what to say about this show yet. The one thing I would say, it's they're 2 episodes out of 9 along and just getting started, so very, very slow start to the show. Um, that only leaves 7 to do everything that needs to be done. Um, did I like it? Yeah, I haven't decided yet. It's there's some good things about it. I think her name's Catherine Hans, the main uh, actor lead in this show. The interesting thing is they're building a show around a character that is totally unlikable, really. I mean, if it's what Disney usually does, they'll try to redeem her that she's, yeah, she may be evil and kill people or whatever, and it's not her fault kind of stuff. But um, she really is not a likable character at all, and yet the show's based on her. Um, you will have to have watched WandaVision on Disney Plus. Um, that is Wanda Maximoff's show with Vision. Um, Agatha Agatha Harkness was a character in the show, and there's a lot of stuff in the episodes. I did watch that show. I didn't particularly think it was that great, although a lot of people did. Um, I liked the later episodes. First episodes in black and white, and where they were back to trying to put it back in time and show it as a TV show and coming out of the 50s and the 60s and so on. Didn't work for me, but the last bit where they're trying to battle Wanda was more interesting to me. And Agatha was a character in the show, basically starts off as a nosy neighbor and then turns out that she's kind of um, the main villain for Wanda to battle because she wants Wanda's powers, the Scarlet Witch's powers. So at the end of that show, Wanda Maximoff basically banishes Agatha to remain in this fake town or this town that Wanda took over in WandaVision and basically be the nosy neighbor character. Like she totally forgets that she's a witch and all this stuff. So this show is very much into witchcraft and stuff like that. So if you don't like that or whatever, yeah, this isn't going to be necessarily for you. But like I said, they dropped the first two episodes. Now, the first episode is kind of interesting, but ultimately very, very slow. But it is in the formation of, or in the form of a cop drama. And I saw somebody else's review, and they said that it's very much copying a um, cop drama, real cop drama, with Kate Winslet in it, mayor of something town. Because the show is made to look exactly like it. I think at one time they use the theme for that show as part of the background music in this show. But Catherine Hahn's character shows up. She's a cop. She's supposed to be a hard-boiled cop, and that again, luckily this episode is not real. It's kind of uh, along the path of Agatha returning to her witch self, but she plays this hard-boiled character, and it's laughable. Like she can't pull it off. So if you say that she's a good actress, she can't play. She might be a good comedic actress or whatever, but she can't play a cop. It's laughable when she's trying to be a tough cop. And there's so many dumb things that happen in the show. But you do start to see some people sprinkled into this fake cop show episode um, from WandaVision and the neighbors. Basically, Wanda has taken over, built a fantasy in this small town, and enslaved almost all the people in it to be part of her delusion. So you start seeing characters from that show appear in this first episode. And again, that's why if you haven't watched WandaVision, you will be maybe more confused than I was with this show. If you're into the comics and you talk about Agatha Harkness character, it's not even even remotely related to the comics. This is totally based on the character created by Disney. So the show looks good. It looks like a cop drama. It could, it could pass as one if the main character could pull off being a hard-nosed cop instead of just a whatever. Um, so there's a murder. There's lots of little clues. People who like to see little Easter eggs and stuff will probably go nuts on this show because there's apparently a lot of them. But there's in WandaVision, there's the fingers of a witch as they do more witchcraft sort of start turning black, and they see the dead body, or at least Agatha sees the dead body's kind of got black fingers, and that there's a bunch of little things that happen within the cop show first episode that kind of are pushing at, uh, and she's called Agnes in the first episode, but they're pushing her that there's something not right, there's something different, or something that is not right in her world. And as the episode goes along, there's more and more stuff. But anyway, she finds a brooch and um, basically keeps it instead of turning it in. Then she is tracking down this character that's been murdered, and that progresses until Audrey Plaza's character shows up. And Audrey, um, a lot of people like Audrey Plaza. I haven't really seen her in that much, one way or the other, to know. Somebody needs to tell the woman to get away from the makeup table because the amount of eyeshadow she throws on is ridiculous. But, anyways, that's just my opinion. Like I said, this is my opinion of the show. But she plays an FBI agent, and there's some kind of relationship between them that would make sense because I've seen some of the trailers and interviews, and that this is supposed to be very gay-oriented show. To the show's credit, they don't belabor the point. They don't push it into your face. You can see that there's maybe some past between Agatha and Audrey Plaza's character, and this young guy appears, and he's very gay in the show. But other than showing, he gets a telephone call from his boy F. Um, Again, they don't really, he doesn't simp around or anything like that. So if you're going to do it, that's kind of the way to do it. Just make them normal characters, a part of the show, and forget about the fact that they're part of the alphabet people. But so as that first episode, like I said, progresses, there's more and more occurring to Agatha that she's not right, and eventually the male, the only male, really, that's part going to be sort of past episode number one, I think, um, breaks into her home, and that kind of triggers her to uh, snap out. That between that and Audrey Plaza, they're trying to trigger her to snap out of her the spell that she's been put under by Scarlet Witch, which she does right at sort of the end. Oh, okay, there's bang, done. So that's when um, Agnes goes to Agatha, and once she becomes Agatha, then she's just like a horrible character that she was in WandaVision. And so again, that whole first episode was, I don't know what they did other than somebody just realizing fantasy they had about some other TV show. Um, it really doesn't progress it along, other than you see that Agnes Agatha is under a spell. This isn't what you saw at the end of WandaVision. There's no nosy neighbor, even though she lives in the same house. This is totally something else that's been fabricated by probably Agatha to explain what's going on. But anyway, she breaks free from it, and at that point decides that she wants to. Well, she's always been power hungry, so she wants to regain her powers, and she has to have a coven of witches to help her along what they call the Witch's Road. So she goes around picking up her team of supposed witches, or witches who have been diminished in their power, and they sort of, in episode 2, agree to accompany her along the Witch's Road, although it's supposed to be not, they probably aren't going to survive. Um, Audrey Plaza does does reappear as some character. We have no idea who she is, or I don't, anyways. Who attacks Agatha, and then just okay, we won't kill each other. Agatha says, "Well, wait until I get my powers, and then if you want to take me on, go ahead." So, and Audrey Plaza's character goes, "Yeah, okay," which doesn't make a lot of sense. But anyways, okay. And then she just does say though that the 7 witches, who I have no idea who they are, but they are from the comic books, are going to be coming for her. And you see along the second episode animals. So you can see crow appearing, and Agatha stares at it for a long time. And then there's a rat, and she stares at it for a long time. And then later on, the gay sidekick sees a wolf standing in the middle of the street, or a coyote, and stares at it for a long time. But it's supposed to be the indication that the bad people are coming. They're supposed to come at sunset, which is around the time Agatha gets Team Agatha ready to open the Witch's Road, or the portal to Witch's Road. So it's sort of the bad people, or worse people, I guess, show up, and Agatha and her team of reject witches start singing the song. So we get a song in the middle of it, which is like, what? Okay. Anyways, they sing the song. The gay boyfriend, or tag along kid, is has to fend off the 7 that show up and scare him a lot. And they sing the song, and Agatha's trying to, at one point, goad the other witches to attack her, because that's how she gets her powers. That's how she tried to steal uh, Scarlet Witch's powers, by getting her to attack her, but they don't. But ultimately, they find a door opens, or underneath them, a trap door that they can get into to the Witch's Road. So they escaped in through the door, and it locks out the 7 sent to get rid of Agatha. And they end up on a road, and they all take their shoes off and start walking the road. And that's the end of the second episode. So 2 episodes have happened. First episode extremely slow. Second episode, more action in it, but really all you see is Agatha is an asshole. More so than anything else. Again, like I said, not a very likable character. So they are at the end of episode 2. They're beginning their journey down the Witch's Road to regain some kind of power, so that Agatha can totally break free and be the powerful witch that apparently she wants to be. So that's it. Show looks good, very good. The crime scene at the start looks very good. They're tying it into. There's a scene where there's another detective talking to Agnes when she's a cop, and he's on the other side of a barrier, and this is supposed to actually mean that they're still in reality, or what passes for reality. Um, in the WandaVision, the 2 of them are talking, and there's a hedge between them. The guy's in the next door hedge next house over. So they do that with the barrier that between them, and supposed to tie back to WandaVision and Westview, I think is the name of the place they stay in. But yeah, it's interesting, a show somewhat. I'm not 100% sure that it's good. It's not bad. I've seen worse. I definitely think I'll check out some more. Um, I don't particularly care about the branch off into, the witchiness of Marvel, because how does that tie into the rest of the multiverse? I mean, Doctor Strange was sort of the witchy character, if you could want to say it that way, or the magical character, and that is brought into the MCU. But this is, I don't know what they're going to do with it, where it's going to go. I don't foresee it going anywhere, to be honest with you. But it makes for decent enough TV. Um, Episodes are going to be dropping today, which is Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. Um, I think it's worth checking out to see. It's not horrible or anything like that. Again, some of it doesn't make a lot of sense. It does rely on you having watched WandaVision, which is what Disney seems to want to do, to sort of force you to go back and look at their other content. I've seen somebody looked at it, just a small review, and he was saying, "Oh, you don't have to watch WandaVision," and it's like, well, yeah, you could probably get by with not watching it. You're just not going to know all these references that kind of push it, hit you in the face. The neighbor, who's that? Who's the librarian? There's a scene featuring a character from WandaVision who's now the librarian, and apparently libraries are still a thing in this fantasy world because there's actually a lineup at the library to check out books. Like, when did that is that still a thing? A library with actual physical books? The local library I go to is more or less transitioned to ebooks for everything. So, yeah, again, I don't know. None of the characters are bad. Like Catherine Hahn playing Agatha, she does a good job of sort of overacting to produce her character. Audrey Plaza, again, girl, too much eyeshadow. Um, is fine in her character. The tiny bit you see in the first two episodes, I'm assuming you're going to see more of it because she's kind of a tier one actress to have in a TV show and not show her. Probably cost a lot to get her to star in this or be a co-star in the show. The sidekick, the guy who wants to, I guess, become a witch, um, is fine. He's not bad. I don't know who he is, but he is from some other show, and they liked him in another show. So, and then the bunch of secondary witches in the coven that Agatha kind of cobbles together to help her get her powers back. They're all fine. So, uh, there's a couple of guys that do New England accents, which is, typically Salem was in New England, and that's maybe where they're supposed to be. And some of the New England accents are pretty bad when they are. A lot of the characters don't have any accent. But yeah, I would say I'm gonna watch it at least another couple episodes, and hopefully it pushes along a little bit more. Because you don't get very far um, after two episodes. At the end of two episodes, Agatha is broken out of her spell. She knows who Scarlet Witch is and what more or less has happened to her. Not every detail, but enough. And her desire is to regain her power, um, for whatever purpose, just to be powerful, I guess. So that's a good start for, I would hope, the remaining of episodes, and they don't waste time in other episodes. They just progress it forward. Um, but that's my opinion. Thanks.